Hey, what's going on, my frosty little friends? My name is Frosty Alpha, and welcome to week 7 of the RBL week. Now, this is going to be a mixed video for this week, only because I just didn't have enough time to do the team builder video, and also I didn't really have enough time to really kind of get any prepping done. Like, I prepped the team, but I didn't get a chance to play it out. But we did have our match, but first I'm just going to go off over the team and why I chose what I chose, and then I will go into the match, and I will have a post commentary review on the video. So for our team builder for this week, I decided to bring Dundee, our Crocodile, Tsunade, our Espeon, Charizard, our Dragonite, Easy Bake, our Rotom, Princess, our Jellicent, and Ruby, our Roserade. Now, it's pretty just power. I noticed with the Avaluggs that they had a huge weakness to Rock and Ice. Like, Rock was a real big weakness for them. And also Earth. Earth was another big weakness for them as well. So I tried to build this team to kind of counter this and kind of to, weaken it down. And the whole premise of this team is to pretty much get Crocodile into sweep. And he pretty much, at this, once I get rid of the mons that are levitating, Earthquake can pretty much take out everything and then set up the whole Moxie sweep thing. So that's pretty much the win condition, but also Charizard or Dragonite was a backup win condition, just because it hits extremely hard, and once I get rid of fast mons, his Outrage can just do an extreme amount of damage, plus he's also going to be rocking Earthquake as well. So let's go right into it. First, I'll start at the bottom. First, we're going to go with our Suicide lead. This is Ruby, our Suicide lead. She has Spikes, and Spikes, Hidden Power Rock, Leaf Storm, and Extra Sensory. I also gave her Poison Point because I'm expecting for Pinsir. I'm expecting Pinsir to come in, because Pinsir pretty much one-shots after Mega Evolution. So once it does that, I'm hoping that Poison Point will poison it to at least put it on timer, so that way he can't just go in and sweep with, +2, or, if he does Sword Dance variant. He can't just Sword Dance up and then just pretty much sweep through my team without, taking some damage. So this is just a Focus Sash, and with Poison Point, Spikes, because the hazards, especially the mons that aren't on the ground, Spikes will do decent amounts of damage to Heatran, and also to Dragalge. Should he bring Dragalge, this will do a decent amount of damage upon entry, so I'm hoping that that's going to happen that way. Leaf Storm's just to pretty much just do lots of damage, just straight outright. Extra Sensory for that Tentacruel, so Tentacruel can do quite a bit. Leaf Storm, I think, just barely does like a percentage or two more, but Extra Sensory is just basically for that Tentacruel. It's full speed, timid nature, max attack, so this thing is meant to live at least one very powerful hit and then get pretty much killed off. I'm hoping to be able to not have rocks up on my side of the field so I can get it in and get the Sash going. If not, then this is going to be a wasted set, so... next, we're going to be bringing Princess, our Jellicent. This one, we're going to be rocking the Rocky Helmet. So I'm expecting some physical power, just especially with Pinsir. Pinsir's quite a powerful mon. He also has Haunch Crow and a couple other mons that can go physical. So I'm going to use the Rocky Helmet to weaken down mons for the Dundee sweep. This is going to be having Recover, Ice Beam, Scald, and Will-O-Wisp. I can't fire Will-O-Wisp off very willy-nilly with Heatran around, so if he doesn't bring Heatran, I'm free to Will-O-Wisp at will, pretty much. And then Scald is a stab, Ice Beam, because like I said, he has 4 mons weak to ice. Oh, excuse me, it's including that Thundurus, which I'm expecting that Thundurus to come. At this point, I'm definitely expecting the Thundurus to come. So it's 252 HP, 252 defense, and then 4 in special defense with a Bolt Nature. Curse Body, so that way hopefully Curse Body will just be able to disable things. It was the best set I can think of without having to go into Sylveon. So I felt this was going to be a better one, because Curse Body and Rocky Helmet can put in quite a bit of work. It can force it to go into a weaker move, or even force a switch out, which gives me allows me to either free Recover or free Scald. So that's what I liked about that. Next, we have our Easy Bake Rotom. This is our special defensive wall. Pain Split, Volt Switch, Hidden Power Ice for the Thundurus, and then Thunder Wave to be able to slow the mons down. I need to be able to get this on Pinsir and Sneasel. Sneasel is also a big problem, but this thing pretty much checks Sneasel. So I'm hoping to Thunder Wave and then be able to Volt Switch out, or Pain Split and then Volt Switch out. But it's going to have max HP, max special defense, Calm Nature, and it's going to do hopefully decent amounts of damage. Next, we're bringing our Choice Banded multi-scale Dragonite. I actually calc this. E-Speed does quite a bit to all of his mons minus Golurk and Heatran. So E-Speed like does 50 to 70% to most mons. So if I can get in and just E-Speed down a couple of mons, or even E-Speed and then have them switch and then E-Speed again, I out-priority everything minus a feint from Pinsir, Mega Pinsir. But Mega Pinsir isn't, the feint doesn't do too horribly much damage to me. So it really just depends on how it's going to be. Outrage, just because it does extreme amounts of damage. It one-shots most mons, especially with Choice Band. Earthquake for the Heatran. And because he has a few other mons weak to it, for the Dragouge as well, but Outrage does the same damn thing. But also Outrage, I think Earthquake doesn't I think Outrage doesn't one-shot Heatran, but Earthquake does. I think that's the whole reason why. Like E-Speed does like 20%, and then Outrage does I think like 60 to 70%, but Earthquake still one-shots it no matter what. And then Thunder Punch just to have an extra move. Since it's banded, I'm going to be locked into stuff. And I'm expecting this thing to put in quite a bit of work. Next, we're bringing in Tsunade. This also puts my opponent on edge because of Magic Bounce, but this is going to be another Focus Sash user with Hidden Power Ground, Baton Pass, Psyshock, and Dazzling Gleam. Baton Pass is basically just to get in, if I get in against Sneasel without having to switch out Inferior Pursuits, I can Baton Pass out and get into something else. Psyshock for Stab, Dazzling Gleam, because they do have quite a bit of mons that are weak to Fairy. There are 3, including Sneasel itself. So, excuse me, I need to be able to hit Sneasel as hard and as fast as I can. I'm going to do a quick check real quick just to make sure this is still recording. Good. Okay, so it is still recording. I've been having so many issues with recordings and things going awry. So this is the best that I can come up with, and I'm really hoping Tsunade puts in quite a bit of work. And then lastly, our win condition, our major win condition for this. Charizard's our backup win condition, but Dundee here is our main win condition. Choice Scarf Moxie, as most others. Stone Edge, because Stone Edge wrecks shop on most things he has on his team. He has, I think, 4 or 5 mons weak to rock. Hold on one second. Let me get my paper out. Here we go. Here we go. He has 4 weak to electric, 3 to water, 3 to grass, 6 to ice. Huge ice weakness. 3 to ground, 4 to rock. So there are quite a bit of rocks. So this thing is quite the win condition. This is also going to be me bluffing Scarf for Stealth Rocks. So I might bring this in that Stealth Rock, sorry, knocking the camera around. I might bring this thing in, bluff the Scarf, and just set up Stealth Rocks. But I'm pretty sure as soon as I switch out, he's going to know that I am Choice Scarfed. But I needed a Rock Setter because Rocks are going to play very pivotal in this match, and I need to be able to weaken mons so that way this thing can start, because I need to get Rocks up as fast as I can. And once they get up and his spinner is gone, he has no way to get rid of them, so every entry he has, they'll take damage. They'll put him within range of, Moxie boosts for Crocodile here. And that's pretty much it. So this is the team again. We have Dundee, Tsunade, Charizard, Easy Bake, Princess, and Ruby. And now, after this small cut, the battle video. Okay guys, welcome back to our battle video. Now, we already had this match, and I pretty much already knew what was going on. I'm pretty sure I said it earlier, so. So here's our match. As you can see, he brought Golurk, Thundurus, Exploud, Samurott, Claydol, and Dragouge. I'm really surprised not to see Pinsir and not to see Heatran. I was really expecting them to come in because I know they do quite a bit of work. Maybe he predicted that I wasn't going to bring Sylveon, because if I had brought Sylveon here, Sylveon would have just put in so much work on this team. Like Hyper Voices would have just put in so much work on this team, and he wouldn't have been able to really do anything. So, like a defensive set with like Wish and Hyper Voice, and then or even like a Choice Spec set, like Choice Spec Hyper Voice would have just completely decimated this team. And it's fine that I didn't bring it because I had to expect that he would bring, specific mons, especially when Pinsir is doing so well, and so is Heatran. Heatran just can eat up those Hyper Voices like they're nothing. So we'll go into it right now. Let me make sure. I'm actually going to set this to normal, and I'll pause the video when I can to show you what I was thinking. So starting off, my initial thing is I figured he would leave it Defiant, so I led with Espeon. Now here I led with Espeon because I wanted to know if he was going to get his rocks up, and I wasn't for certain that he would leave with Thundurus. And I was like, okay, it's Tsunade, she's focus sashed, it's fine, I can take one hit and, do some good damage. Since he didn't have it, he knew he couldn't set up rocks, he couldn't bounce anything, he couldn't Thunder Wave or anything like that, because it would just bounce it right back. So I live with Tsunade here. Now, what happens here in this next part is that, as you can see, we actually, what I thought is that we outspeed. What ended up happening is we ended up finding out is that he ran Hidden Power Fire for Scizor. And so what ended up happening is that we actually speed tied because of the IVs. He had to do 30 IVs to get into Hidden Power Fire. So his speed was matched at my speed, because normally Thundurus outspeeds Espeon by 1 point. So he should have outsped, but he didn't, only because of Hidden Power Fire. It basically came down to speed tie, and I won the speed tie. So I was able to do a decent amount of damage. As you can see, it did 66% to that Thundurus, automatically just kind of weakening it out. And so he goes, and he decides he's going to switch into Claydol here. Now, I wasn't for certain exactly what Claydol could do, but I knew that Psychic wasn't going to do anything to it since it resists Psychic. So for here, I'm just like, I can't really switch out because I can't let him set up rocks. I can't, I know this thing is a rock setter, so I can't let him set up rocks. So I decide to just kind of let it go. I'm actually going to turn this down to slow, so that way we can do this. I can do this a little bit easier. So I decide to stay it in, so that way if he does try, predict the switch and try to go for rocks, I can then do some damage to it. I know I outspeed it, and then he can just bounce rocks back to his side of the field. So as you can see, we hit it with Dazzling Gleam. He does 26%, and then he goes for Reflect. So he decides to set up the Reflects. I'm fine with that because, I just go for it again. Like I said, I'm pretty much just sacking this thing off. He goes for Earthquake. He takes it out. That's fine. So we lose Tsunade. We're automatically down 6-5. But I already have 2 Mons weakened, which is what I wanted. So here I decide to go into Crocodile. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta get rid of this item. I might be able to take this out, but I forgot to calc for Reflect. Now, I've forgotten to calc with Reflect, and I was like, crap, he had survived. He now has a chance to get rocks up, and I can't do anything about it. So he does set up rocks here, as I just decide to... I think I decided to switch out... no, he decided to set up rocks on that set. So he switches out, he goes into X-Cloud. I go again for a knockoff, going for the kill, and I'm able to knock it off, and I'm expecting Specs, but he has a Lumberry. So it threw me off a little bit. He knows here I can't touch him, so I decided to switch out. For this, I decided to switch into Jellicent, because I'm thinking, okay, this thing can't touch me with Hyper Voice, or with Boom Burst. It can't touch me, it's a normal type. So he sets up behind the sub, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get rid of the sub, I gotta Scald. So I decide to stay in, and I Scald, and he Boom Burst, and I take a lot of damage. This is when I forgot, and I realized, I hovered over, and I realized that this thing gets the ability Scrappy. So he was building this thing to take on my Princess. So I was just like, crap, I totally had it not expected, I wasn't expecting it, and so I go for the Scald. Luckily enough, the Scald does a good amount of damage, it breaks the sub. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to lose it on this next turn, or he's going to try to set up again. He goes for it, he takes it out. We're now down 5-4. Or no, we're down 6-4. But we do have some weak Mons on their team, so I decided to go into Rosemary. For this one, I'm just like, okay, I got to go for it. I got to try to get rid of this thing. So I go for, I go for a Leaf Storm here. I'm actually going to set it back to normal. So I go for a Leaf Storm. I'm actually just going to set it back down. So I go for Leaf Storm. I end up taking it out. He sacks the Claydol off. There is about 1 turn left on this Reflect. Now the Reflect wears off, so now I don't have to worry about screens coming up. But I am at a -2. I did calc this right here. And even at -2, with all the stuff I had, I still had a good shot of weakening to possibly even taking this thing out with another Leaf Storm. So I decide I'm going to Leaf Storm again. I'm just going to, set myself down. And he decides to switch out again. He switches into Dragalge. So Dragalge eats this thing. And it's, it takes 8%, so it weakens it. So now I'm severely weakened. At this point, I just decide, you know what? It's probably time to give it up. I need to get a layer of spikes up. So I set up my layer of spikes. I know I outspeed. He goes for Dragon Pulse. He takes it out. I'm assuming it's adaptability Dragalge. So he takes it out, but at least I got 1 layer of spikes up. I just needed that. So I go into Crocodile, because I need to get something going on. He fears the Earthquake, so he can't stay in. So I decide to play the bait, and I decided to go and set up my own Stealth Rocks, because I needed these things up. So I set it up. I know he's probably going to U-turn, because he knows U-turn does damage to me, and then he gets the 6% on that. So I decide to switch out here, and I go into Rotom Heat. And as it is, we're now down 5-3. And so it's not looking very good for us, but he does have a bunch of mons weakened, so I'm getting the strategy down to where Crocodile can sweep the team later on. So he switches out. I know he's going to take a lot of damage on the re-entry. He brings in Boom Burst, which takes 24% from entry hazards. And at this point, I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's click the Volt Switch, because Hidden Power Ice still doesn't do enough damage. So he goes for Boom Burst. He does a lot of damage, brings me under the 25% mark, and I do Volt Switch, but I do take it out. So Rotom takes out Explodes, which weakens one mon off his team and allows me to get back in to, I believe I go into Crocodile here. Yes, I go back into Crocodile, because now I know that he can't really touch, anything I have. Now, this is a small misplay that I do at this point in time, because I know he's got Dragalge. I should have predicted that he wasn't going to stay in at this point, because it's too much to stay in, and I should have gone for Knockoff. But I decided, I was like, maybe he'll stay in and I can get Earthquake, but I do know he does have that Thunderous. I do go for the Earthquake, getting a little greedy, and I decided, okay, like, this is, I need to, I can't sit here and take a hit. I need to sack something off. So I decided Rotom, it's time to sack him off. So he can't U-turn out. He can't do anything. He's gonna get the 6% heal, but he decides he's gonna go for Bulk Up. So he's gonna try to sweep at this point. He's gonna try to outspeed me and sweep. I'm pretty sure he knows I'm not going to bring in Crocodile, because I'm not going to lock myself into something else. So I go into Dragonite, and with Extreme Speed, I out-priority him, and I just take him out with a straight Extreme Speed. Now, at this point, now that Thunderous is out of the way, everything sits on the ground, everything is ready to go for Crocodile. I'll pause this right here. So he brings in the Golurk. Golurk takes a good amount of damage, takes 18% from entry hazards, which is good, because it's, just slowly weakening it over time. And at this point, I only have Dragonite and Crocodile. And those two are my 2 win conditions at this point. Crocodile being my main win condition, with Charizard being my secondary win condition. At this point, I know Charizard outspeeds everything on his team. Golurk can't touch it. Samurot's not fast enough. Golurk can touch it, but Golurk's not fast enough. And Dragalge is super slow to begin with. So if it were to survive a Outrage, it would die. Hey, more power to it. I don't see this thing ever surviving an Outrage from a Choice Banded Charizard. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I need to save Charizard just in case things go awry. I need to go back into Crocodile. I have the chance that he has Ice Punch, and go into the Crocodile. So here, I decide to make the switch. I go into Crocodile, because I can't leave myself banded into Extreme Speed when I can't touch it. So he goes for it. He decides to go for Shadow Punch. I resist it being a Dark type, so this works in my favor, because now I'm able to go first because I'm outspeed, and I do the knockoff, and now we set up the first stage Moxie. So now we're at +1. At this point, I look at it and I go, with entry hazards +1, Moxie can pretty much just take this out. As you see, he took 24% on entry hazards, and so I just go for it. I'm just like, if he takes me out, cool. If not, I was surprised to see right here with the Samurott that he did not go Aqua Jet. I really thought he was going to go Aqua Jet with Life Orb, because that probably would have taken me out. But maybe he calced it and it wouldn't have taken me out. It would have left me weakened. But, I wasn't sure quite the play here. Maybe he went for Waterfall instead. Maybe he didn't have Aqua Jet this time around. And he was just going to wait, see if he could live the knockoff, and then, pretty much Aqua Jet me down from there. But he doesn't, so I'm able to knock off again, setting up another, knocking out another Mon and getting another stage Moxie boost. Now at this point, I know upon entry hazards, he's going to take enough damage to put this thing in, to put the Dragalge within range of taking a knockoff at +2, and it can't do that. Hell, even almost at full health, it can't do it. So at this point, I knock out the Dragalge. Dundee sweeps at the end, just like I wanted him to, and we go from being outmatched, I think it was 4-2, and we end up sweeping with Crocodile, taking a 2-0 victory. With this puts us at a 4-3 win record. So that's really good for us. We also get into the positive differential with this 2-0 victory. This moves us from -1 to +1. So we're making a good push for the playoffs. And I want to thank Survive for a great match. I know he felt, at this point in the beginning, he felt like he got showdowned. It wasn't until later, like I said, that we realized that he figured out later that he just lost the speed tie roll. And that's why he didn't go first on his Thunderous, and he went second, because my Tsunade won the speed roll. And I was able to do a lot of damage to it, because that would have changed a lot if he had if he had done that, because he probably thought it was choice specs, and so he would have taken some from Psychic, which would have left it weakened, but he still would have had a full HP'd Thunderous to play with, and that probably could have changed the entire tide of the match. But you know, speed ties, they happen. Miscalcs happen. You know, like I did with the Reflect. But I wish Survive9 and the Avaluggs the remainder of the season best of lucks to you guys. And next week we play the Minnesota Eon Twins. This time I did check it, and we do actually play the Eon Twins this time. This is Joe 6, and he is the Season 2 champion, so we do have a tough battle. He has a great team, so we definitely need to be, again, on our A-game. We need to be on our A-game for the remainder of the season, otherwise we will not make the playoffs, and that's what I'm pushing for, is I'm pushing to make the playoffs. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will see you in our next video where hopefully I can get a team builder up. I'm really hoping to get a team builder up this next time. For Joe 6 and the Minnesota Eon Twins. So I will see you in our next episode, and remember, stay frosty, my friends, alright?